Bournemouth 0, Chelsea 0. What did you make of that game, Pardew? It just felt that Chelsea didn't really have any ideas. Like it was again, that was a bit of a laboured performance from Chelsea. I can see why there was boos.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea is a club that I know well, and it's I don't live too far from the training ground, so it's a club that I get a lot of feedback from, particularly from fans, and they're kind of like they don't know what they're going to get. Well, I know what they got today. It wasn't good enough.
No,
for a club of Chelsea's recent history, Champions League winners, etc., winning leagues and everything else,
and £1 billion spent.
No control over that game. That game was so loose. Poch must have been standing on that sideline thinking, what's going on here? Because Bournemouth give as good as they got. And when you're Chelsea and the funds that they've spent, you would expect them to control that game. Okay, Bournemouth can have some breakaways, etc., but you should be in total control. It was going from one end. That was almost like a basketball game for the last 15 minutes. If I was manager of Chelsea, watching that, I'd have got on the bus tonight thinking, wow, I've got a lot of work to do. There
is a lot of work to do at Chelsea at the moment. And of course, listening to Sam and Perry Groves on before us on the way in, they were just talking about, you called it from day one, the lack of experience in that team and who's the leader, where's the leaders going to come from, where's the leadership, and you think of Chelsea's pedigree as a football club, like the kind of players that they could have brought into that side, but this whole, apparently, ethos of buying these young players on the long contracts and resale value, that shouldn't what Chelsea should be thinking about and worrying about a club of Chelsea's size, should they? Well,
we're going to come on to Man United later, and you could say the same thing about them, that they bought these sort of players maybe for the future, but it's now. When you're in the Premier League, it's about now, and particularly if you're the manager, because you're going to come under pressure if you ain't getting results. And as a board, you have to understand that you have to protect the manager. You have to give him the tools. And at the moment, Chelsea look like the tools are not quite happening. I look at that team, I look at Silva, and he's a leader. He's a world-class player. And yes, okay, we can put one next to him. And then I look around that team, I'm looking, where is that personality that who's going to grab that game from the Dennis Wise, get hold of it, the Hullet, that someone who's going to grab the game and take control of that midfield area. I don't know. It looks all a bit shallow at the moment.
It's interesting that you mentioned about buying for the now, because moving back to Arsenal, a great goal, great finish by Trossard today, 28 years of age.
Yep.
Brilliant for Brighton, knows the Premier League well, and that's the kind of player Arsenal bring into their ranks because they get going straight away.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Chelsea are missing right now.
Well, there's nothing wrong with buying young players, of course, but they've bought a catalogue of young players at Chelsea. Like Man City, Duku yesterday was brilliant. Okay, you brought a young player into a really established team that's winning. Okay, you can easily put 2 or 3 youngsters in that team, no problem. But, it's difficult when you're building from the ground up. I mean, they really are looking short, Chelsea, and it's a bit of a worry. If I was a Chelsea fan, call in, let's hear from you.
Yeah, Chelsea fans, 03717 22 3344. Where are you now with Project Pochettino, and how long do you give it? Because it is a project part, isn't it? And I think we knew that under your good friend, Mr. Potter. He didn't have enough time there. Is Poch going to go down that same route? Does it look like they'll pull the plug earlier? Because there's so much pressure there at Chelsea, because it is, as you mentioned, it is such a big club. And not just that, the money that's been spent, no one's going to accept being 14th in the Premier League. I know it's only 5 games in, but you can't be looking at 14th in the Premier League.
No, the problem, as I said, just a moment ago, that pressure on the manager, he has to be protected. And I think they've left Poch a little bit open here. In terms of inexperience and a lack of stability in the team and lack of character in the team. And he's having to piece it all together. At some point, Poch is going to go, right, this is it. This is I've seen them all, and this is my team. And that needs to come quickly.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.